Alright, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be covering more contemporary types of chords in the key of A major. Let's get started. A is 1, B is 2, C sharp is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F sharp is 6, G sharp is 7, and A is 1. Alright, so on the 1 according to the number system is typically major, so A, C sharp, and E. Alright, you can make this a sus2 chord by playing the 2, which is A, B, and E. Alright, so instead of playing that 3, you play the 2, and that's a sus2. Or you can make it a sus4 by instead of playing the 3, play the 4, which is D, so A, D, and E. Alright, then you can play this as a 1, 3, and 5 with that added 2 in it. Okay, now you can also make this a major 7th type of voicing by finding the 3rd, 1, 3, and playing that as a major chord. You can also make this a major 7th by finding the 3rd, which is C sharp, and playing that as a minor chord. So that's C sharp, E, and G sharp. And that gives you that major 7th type of sound, right? You can also get that major 9th type of sound by finding the 5th, 1, 3, and 5, which is E, and playing a major chord over it. So E major, so E, G sharp, and B. Then you can also do your chordal chord trick, which is where you take the 3rd scale degree and play it as a chordal, the 2nd scale degree as a chordal, the 7th as a chordal, and the 6th as a chordal. Okay, so the 3, 1, 2, 3 is D flat, so form a chordal, which is D flat, G flat, and B, or C sharp, F sharp, and B. Okay, remember your chordal chords, you're basically just stacking fourths. So you start off with the C sharp, right? What's the 4th of C sharp? 1, 2, 3, 4 is F sharp. What's the 4th of F sharp? 1, 2, 3, 4 is B. And that's how you come up with it, alright? So that's what it is on the 3rd. On the 2nd scale degree is B, so you have B, E, and A. Okay, so this is off of the 3rd, this is off of the 2nd. Then your chordal off of the 7th is going to be G sharp. So G sharp, the 4th of that is 1, 2, 3, 4 is C sharp. 4th of that is 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp. You play that together and then do the same thing off of the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is F sharp. So then B and E. Okay. So that's some options of things that you can do on the 1. Major, sus2, sus4, right? Make it a major 7th. Make it a major 9th. And then you do your chordal chord trick. Alright. Ways to voice the 1 in the key of A. Let's look at the 2, which is B. The 2 is typically minor, right? So you can play a B minor, which is B, D, and F sharp, right? You can make this a minor 7th by finding the 3rd, which is D, and playing that as a major. So D, F sharp, and A. And then you can make it a minor 9th by finding the 5, 1, 3, and 5, and making that a minor chord. So F sharp minor, F sharp, A, and C sharp. That gives you that minor 9th sound. And then of course you can make this a minor 11th by going a whole step down below that root. Whole step down from that B is A, forming a major chord. So A major in your right hand and B minor in your left hand gives you that B minor 11th type of voicing. And then of course, you can use a chordal chord trick here, where you play the chordal chord off of that root, which is B, E, and A, and a whole step up. And it sounds pretty good, okay? So that's some options of things that you can do on the 2. Let's take a look at the 3. 1, 2, 3. The 3 is typically going to be major or minor, right? And the 3 of A is going to be C sharp. So if we want to play this to get a major type of sound, you can play the 1 major, right? So A, C sharp, and E over that C sharp in your bass. You can make it a sus chord by playing the B. It's more like a drop 2 voicing technically, but anyways. Okay, and then you can always go the chordal chord that's a whole step down. So that would be B and form a chordal chord. So all of those sound good, right? You can even do the 4 if you wanted to. Gives you a little bit of tension there, but it works. Okay, so that's how you can make this sound more like a major type of voicing. And again, we're focusing on the 3 as if it's more of a landing tone as opposed to a passing tone. But the 3 can also be minor, right? So you got the C sharp there, so you can play C sharp minor, which is C sharp, E, and G sharp, right? And you can make this a minor 7th, right? By playing an E major over it. So that would be E, B, and G sharp, right? You can make it a minor 9th by finding the 5 of that C sharp minor. So 1, 3, 5 is A flat or G sharp, and playing that as a minor chord. Okay, so that's G sharp, B, and D sharp in my right hand. Left hand still playing that C sharp minor. So if I stack those 2 minors, then I come up with that minor 9 type of sound. And then of course you can play this as a minor 11th by going a whole step below that root, which is going to be B, and forming that as a major chord. So B, D sharp, and F sharp. And as you can see by now that we're starting to recycle chords, be it triads or extended chords. And that's why it's important for you to learn all 12 keys, because once you learn one key, it has relevance in a couple other keys. And you get good at playing these things just by practicing one key. So you want to, imagine what would happen if you practice in 2 keys and you're really learning about 6 different things at the same time. It's pretty cool when you think about it. All right. So that's the minor 11th. And of course, you can do the chord trick by using the root and forming a chord chord. So C sharp, F sharp, and B. And a whole step down. Sounds pretty, gives you some tension. Okay. That's things you can do on the 3. Before we get to the 4, I want to encourage you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're finding this content helpful. That way you can be alerted of when more content is posted. All right. So thanks for doing that. It really helps out the channel. All right. So that's what you can do on the 3. Let's look at the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be D. According to the number system, the 4 is typically major. So we're looking at D major chords, right? So that's D, F sharp, and A. You can play that in different inversions, right? Major. You can make this a major 7th by finding the 3rd. 1, 3 is F sharp and making that as a minor chord. F sharp, A, and C sharp in your right hand over that D major gives you that major 7th sound. You can make this a major 9th by finding the 5. 1, 3, 5, which is A, and playing that as a major. So A, C sharp, and E. Alright, and of course you can add that in there too. Sounds pretty good. Alright, so that's on the 4. Now because it's a major chord, we can do the chord trick, which basically says form a chord off of the 3rd, 2nd, 7th, and 6th of the key that I'm on. So if I'm on a D major, find the 3rd, which is F sharp, form the chord. So F sharp, B, and E. Off of the 2 is E, so E, A, and D. So you can draw from the 3, the 2, right? The 7th is going to be C sharp, so C sharp, F sharp, and B. And then the 6th is going to be B, so B, E, and A. All right, so you have it off of the 3rd, the 2nd, the 7th, and the 6th. And all of those things will work. All right, so that's things that you can do on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the 5. So the 5 is typically going to be major. So of course you can make this a major chord. So E major, E, G sharp, and B. You can suspend it, right, and play the 2. So E, F sharp, and B. Typically I don't do the 4, but you can make it a sus4 if you like, right? And then of course you can play all of those together, the 1, the 3, the 5, and add that 2. Okay, so that's what you can do on the 5. On the 5, we know is typically used to take me back to the 4. So one thing I like to do is to play is usually played to take you back to the 1. So on that 5, I like to play the 4 over it as a major chord, which is going to be D major. So D, F sharp, and A. And it takes you back to the 1. So you can play the 4 over it, right? Another thing you can do is play the 4 as a major 7th. So D major 7th. Alright, so what you can do is play the 4 over it as a major 7th. So D major 7th. got the 4. Or you can play the 4 as a major 7th. Right? Another thing you can do is play the 4. You can play the 4 over it, right? So D major 7th. You can play it as a diminished 7th. So D diminished 7th. Sounds good, right? Alright, so that's something that you can do. You get the major triad, the 4 major 7th, that 4 as a diminished 7th. Also on that 5, you can play the 3, which is C sharp, as a major chord. Right? Sounds good. And that works, okay? Then also on the 5, you can play the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is A flat, as a quarter chord, right? So you're going to go from the 7 to the 6 as a quarter chord in your right hand. So that's G sharp, C sharp, and F sharp. And then it goes down to F sharp, B, and E. Okay, so you do that on the 5. And then when you go to the 1, that's when you play the quarter chord off of that 6, okay? That's like a West Coast move. So that's things you can do on the 5. Let's take a look at the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 6, which is going to be F sharp, we're typically going to play the 4 as a major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So you can play a D major. So D, F sharp, and A. Or you can go a whole step down below that 6, which is E, and form a quarter chord. Okay, so as you can see, that type of voicing is typically used when you're walking from the 6 to the 7 to the 1. So the 6, 7, we'll get to that in a moment, and then to the 1. Alright, so you can play it as the 4 major, 1, 2, 3, 4, D major, or you can do a whole step below your bass, which is E, as a quarter chord. Alright, we'll get to the 7 in a moment. But that's what you can do on the 6 if you want to go for more of a major type of contemporary sound. You can also make it like a sus2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Suspend that. So D, E, and A. Instead of playing that 3, play the 2. That gives you a nice drop 2 type of voicing. Because that's where it would be. Take the second highest note from the top and drop it into your bass. And that's what makes it like a drop 2. Right? And then you do the same thing when you go to that 7. But we'll get there in a moment. So that's things you can do on the 6 if you're going for a major sound. What if it's a minor sound? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be minor, so you can play it as a F sharp minor, F sharp, A, and C sharp. You can make it an F sharp minor 7th, right? By playing an A major in your right hand, so A, C sharp, and E. That gives you that minor 7th type of sound. You could make it like a minor 9th, right? By playing a C sharp minor. That gives you a minor 9th type of sound. Okay? And then you can make it a minor 11th sound by playing that minor in your left hand, F sharp minor. Go down a whole step from F sharp, which is E, and play that as a major. So E, G sharp, and B. Okay. And that gives you that minor 11th sound. And then of course you have the quarter chord trick, where you can do the quarter chord of the root that you're in, which is F sharp, B, and E. Right? Okay. I'm just playing around with it. So you can do it on the root, and you can do it on the 5th. It all sounds good. Alright, so that's things that you can do on the 6. Let's look at the 7. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be that G sharp. So on the 7, you can play the 5 as a major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So E major, E, G sharp, and B. Right? Or or you could do it as a sus2, so E and F sharp instead of that G sharp, right, and then the B. And then if you invert that, you'll see that is that chordal chord that's a whole step below the G sharp. So a whole step below is F sharp, a chordal chord will be F sharp, B, and E, right? So those do a good job of taking you to the 1. Right? Uh-oh. And again, that's used if you're on the 6, 7, 1. Right? Or the 6, 7, 1. Alright? And that's typically the things that you're going to do on the 7. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this content, and for more information just like this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.